Flosstube friends. I'm Amy. I am the Globetrotting Stitcher, and I'm happy to be spending some time with you again today. Today is episode number 20, which feels like a bit of a milestone. I can't believe we have done 20 of these episodes already. But we're so glad that so many of you come back to spend time with us every couple of weeks, and we really appreciate it. Today's episode has been brought to you by the letter U for unwelcome guest. And to give you a hint about what the unwelcome guest is, we have Frogman, because the frog is still hanging around our house, but more about that later. So just quickly, we wanted to say thank you to everybody for all of your well wishes and kind comments, and everybody wishing Gary a happy birthday after our last episode. Thank you so much. I know he really appreciated that. I think he did have a pretty good birthday. So we've been really careful over the last year about social gatherings, and we just, for our own, we just don't see a lot of people, including family, unfortunately. And my parents were vaccinated earlier this year, and so we decided that we would go ahead and host a small family brunch to celebrate Gary's birthday. So everybody came out to our house and pitched in, and we had a lovely time together. And so, yeah, it was just really, really good to see everybody. Gary also did pretty well in the action figure acquisition department.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for the birthday wishes.
Yes.
Thank you.
He feels all warm and fuzzy inside. So anyway, yeah, thank you again. It was a good birthday and for him, and so that was nice. This is a particularly celebratory time. We have a lot of birthdays in the family right now. So also want to wish Bear Pants a happy birthday. Our sweet boy is turning 7 years old today, which also I can't believe he's 7. It feels like just yesterday he was like the sweetest, cutest little puppy on earth. And he really was. He was such an adorable puppy. And we have some funny stories from his puppy days. His first trip to the dog park was not a big success. But anyway, he's a good boy, and he had a good day yesterday. So
that's a visual story.
Yes, it's a visual story.
I cannot tell that from behind the mic.
Maybe you should come on out.
I don't know.
Well,
because I don't know. Well, okay. See, now you roped me into it.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know how to do.
You
okay,
can go around.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. I'm not dressed for this.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Oops! Oh, hit a light.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Oh.
See, this is why. Anyway, okay. So what? I think I'm in the right depth right now. I'm in the right depth.
Yeah.
So Bear's first
trip to the dog
park. So we did everything that they told us to do with a new puppy, and when they go to meet a new dog, and that we we kneeled down next to the puppy so that other dogs didn't see us as a threat, and let the puppy sit so the dogs could sniff it and then walk away. And we walked into the park, and really about 4 or 5 seconds into the park, these 2 huge dogs came just running at Bear. And Bear was a puppy. He must have been about 20 pounds at that time.
He was like 16 weeks.
Yeah. So, but at any rate, they come over, and of course I do what I'm supposed to do. I get on my knee, and, hold the dog. They sniff him, and then the 2 big dogs turn around and, they're like, this guy's not a problem. We're out of here. Then this little tiny dog came over and just kept trying to rip Bear's ears. He kept just jumping and biting at Bear's ears. And this is all happening, within seconds of getting at the dog park. But this dog won't stop it. And whoever the owner is, they're not taking any attention. But the other dogs that were there did take some attention, and they turned back around and came back. So now I got about 3 or 4 dogs standing around me, and they're barking. They're all barking at Bear. They all want a piece of Bear, I guess. So then I pick Bear up in the worst possible way. I got this hand on his belly and this hand on the round part of his left leg. So just imagine trying to hold a dog up in the air like that. So anyway, I get him up in the air, and he's squirming all around
And squealing.
and squealing. And there's like, again, 4 or 5 dogs literally around us going, roof, 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 roof. And then Bear starts to pee, right? But so there's like pee coming down my arm. There's like pee going everywhere. And because the dogs are all around us, we're like going kind of in a semicircle. So he's like peeing all over the other dogs. Anyway, it was a pee fest.
And I'm outside the park looking in because I was still trying to get some stuff out of the car. And I look, and it was like the worst reenactment of the presentation of Simba in The Lion King.
Yeah, we didn't go well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not that it wasn't as good as Simba's. There was no pee.
Yeah, he peed on other dogs. He peed on his aggressors. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna let you guys get back to this cross stitch business.
Yeah, cross stitch stuff.
Right, I'm gonna try not to hit the light.
Good job.
Oh nope! I hit the light.
Oh no!
Great. What did I hit?
Uh-oh.
No, it's the moving one.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's a fun memory of Bear. He had a good day yesterday, pre-birthday, getting out. So I took him to, we've got a couple of local craft stores that allow dogs. So we went, and he and Sophie and I went to the craft store. We went to Joann's and Michael's and did a little shopping and looking around and saying hello to people, which they always get excited about. And then we went to the Mud Bay locally, where we got to pick out a new bed. And so he was a little bit unsure about it at first when I brought it home last night, but by the end of the night, he, once he finally got into it, and he was like, yeah, I think this will work. And clearly he's a big fan. He was looking pretty cozy by the end of the night last night. So he's having a good birthday so far. So yeah, that's it for birthdays. Let's go ahead and talk about the cross stitch. So the first thing I want to show you is my full coverage piece, which is Rose Trellis Inn. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart, and I am stitching it on 28 count white Lugana 2/1 with the half stitch or tent stitch. So the last time you saw this, I had kind of started to make some progress on the chimney, and I was working my way down. And I was maybe, a third to a halfway finished with the first dormer window in the roof line. And kind of going into this last rotation on it, I was expecting to have more time to work on it, because we were having where I work. We've been in remote work status for over a year now, and people are kind of feeling burned out. We do a lot of work with international partners, and so there's a lot of really early morning conference calls, really late night conference calls, and people are just working really hard, really long hours. And so they've been instituting these periodic quiet weeks, which are meant to be okay, let's not have any meetings or calls this week as much as possible. Let's limit email traffic internally this week as much as possible, so that if folks want to take vacation time, they don't fall too far behind. And if they need time to catch up or do some of the more deep, thoughtful work that you never really get to, that they've got some time for that. So I was thinking, oh, this is great. I'll work 8-hour days for a change and have some more stitching time at night. And it didn't work out that way for me. But so all of that to say, I also stole a day from working on this to finish up holiday ribbons. So I didn't have the progress I envisioned, but that's okay. So this is where I am on it right now. As you can see, I have just a little corner left to do to finish off this window. I'm almost finished with the chimney as well. And yeah, it's really coming along. I don't know if you guys can see it from there also. There is this little shadow as I'm stitching here. There's this little shadow thing that has emerged from the window. And I'm kind of trying to figure out what the heck it is. Is it a cat? Is it a ghost? Is it just a random shadow? What is it? So it's really weird, but anyway, I've been sort of amusing myself as I've been stitching this, trying to figure out what that is, and maybe I'm overthinking it. Ad. It's a what?
Bottle of Coke.
It's not a bottle of Coke.
Okay.
I don't think it's a bottle of Coke.
Well, it's not done yet. So it's an ad.
There you go. I think it's a ghost. Anyway, anyway, I'm really enjoying how this is coming on. And one thing that was fun was when my folks were here last weekend, they that was the first time, just because of COVID, that's the first time they've been to our house in over a year. And so they had not seen this since I was up in this first row of pages. And I think the last time they saw this in person, I was like right around this area. So they were really surprised at how much I'd gotten done, and really enjoyed, I think, seeing just how pretty it is now that we're getting into some of like the main subject of the design. So anyway, that is where I am with Rose Trellis Inn. And, I think this is my first full coverage piece. And I think anytime you're stitching full coverage, it feels like it takes forever to really get anywhere. But the longer I work on this, the more I really love it. And the other thing that I have realized is that if you work on these consistently, it might take 2 or 3 months, but if you take pictures of your progress on a regular basis, you can go back and you can actually see just how much you've accomplished, even when you don't think you've gotten that far. So I was looking back the other day at just where I was at the beginning of the year and where I am now, and I was really excited to see how much ground I've covered. So anyway, that is Rose Trellis Inn, and this is where we are. The next piece I worked on was my Seasons Spring design by Lila's Studio. And I am stitching that on a 32 count French Vanilla Swirl Wexford linen by Silk Weaver. And I've mentioned a couple of times now just how much I love that fabric. And the last time we showed it to you, I was telling you I was disappointed in how little I had accomplished. I haven't had much stitching time on it since then, but that's okay. I am happy with where it is. So when we showed it to you last, I had finished stitching one of the 2 birds. I had a quilt star done, and I was almost done with the pansies on the right-hand side. No. Yeah, the right-hand side of the project. So this, let's see if we can do this. This is where it is right now. So as you can see, I've put in a tulip here, started to put in this tulip, starting to get some of the leaves in. Yeah, I think it's coming along a little slowly, but I really enjoy when I have a chance to work on it. I really do enjoy it. And I think it's really pretty. I love the way that the colors play together in this, and I'm really happy with the fabric choice that I made. So yeah, that's where I am on this. And I am definitely looking forward to having a finish on this at some point in time. I do plan to turn it into a pillow. And so I'm kind of starting to think about how I want to do that pillow finish, and kind of starting to keep an eye out for some possible fabrics that I could use for that. So we will see. That may be a long time coming, but every stitch counts. So that is where I am on the Seasons Spring design. Okay. The next whip I am going to show you is Gary's, and this is No by Happy Sloth Cross Stitch Patterns, which is an Etsy shop. And unfortunately, Gary was the victim of the frog this week, and I think that this piece is aptly named No because that's exactly what happened. So the last time you saw this, I'm trying to remember, Gary had finished stitching Robin's hand. He had stitched and filled in one of Batman's hands, and he had worked his way up, and he had done the outline of Batman's slapping hand and was just starting to fill that in. So shall I go ahead and show them? Do you want to talk about
Yes, you don't have to ask me. You just show
okay.
it. Yeah. I mean, You're like, here it is. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Let me ask.
Just kidding. So here's where he is now. So he's finished filling in all of Batman's hand, and he's working his way down Robin's head.
Twice.
Would you like to talk about your experiences?
Like to? Is it I miscounted. Everything was off by literally 1 row, and Robin had an oblong head. So if you all of those black stitches that you see for Robin's head, except for the top 2 stitches, had to come out. And that was about 4 or 5 hours of work. Had to be redone. Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I felt like fire would have solved the problem a lot easier. So, I got a Zippo back out in the garage, would have taken care of the problem.
Yeah, he was muttering about lighters last night, and I was like, no, Gary. No, Gary.
Fire! Anyway, yeah, don't miscount.
Don't miscount. You don't want to frog that much out.
That should be a national movement. Don't do drugs. Don't miscount.
Don't miscount your cross stitch.
Okay, so that's
all right. So that's where he is right now.
Yeah. Where I was before.
So after this video is over, we're going to perform an exorcism of some kind to get the frog out of our house.
Yeah.
We're done with that. Okay. That's all we have for whips to show you today, but I do have a new start that I'm really excited to share with you. So I've been talking about this the last couple of videos, and I got to have a new start in the sampler part of my rotation. And so I got to start on Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs. I am stitching this on a 35 count tin roof by Weeks Dye Works. I'll just drop this down here. And using, for the most part, using all of the called for flosses. So with this design, I took a slightly different direction than I see most people, because everybody and their mother is stitching this one right now. It's been really popular the last 6 months, and it's easy to see why. It's a beautiful design. And most folks that I've seen stitching on this are taking more of like a tan neutral for the fabric. And tin roof is definitely more of, it's got sort of a greenish, bluish, grayish cast to it. And when I was looking through my stash and trying to decide what I wanted to use for this piece, when I put the flosses, when I did the floss toss on the different fabrics, they just popped on this particular fabric. So let me show you what I have managed to accomplish in the last week since I started this. So this is where I am. I have managed to get the border all the way across the top, and I'm filling in, all of the little detail work with the acorns there. This is the bottom of the piece, so the border goes all the way down to the bottom, and I'm just within a few stitches of the bottom over here. So the dimensions of the piece are pretty clear. I have started on the big fruit bowl, and also beginning to get some of these little bits and pieces in over here. And then I've also made a little bit of a start on the big, beautiful blue house, which I just love. The blues in that house are so, so lovely. I would also love to point out the beautiful needle minder that Gary made for me. I have always been a big fan of cameos, and so I love getting to use this needle minder. I think it's really beautiful. So yeah, I'm really enjoying starting on this piece. This piece is a cautionary tale of, I think one of the things I have learned is if you want to stick to your plans and your rotation, don't kit too many things up in advance, because once you have them kitted up, you want to start all of them. And so this one actually pushed out a different sampler that I already had kitted up, ready to get started. And I just couldn't bear the thought of waiting to start this one for an entire year while I work on that one, because it's a big one. And so, yeah, this one is getting done first, which is fine. I will say, quite cutely, as I often do, I was overly ambitious when I was thinking about this piece, and I was looking at, when I was putting all of the details about it into my, my tracking spreadsheet that I use for tracking my whips and my progress. I plugged in the stitch count and I was like, oh, that's not a very big stitch count. I bet I could do that in 2 rotations. Cute. Because no, that's not going to happen. This is almost a full week of work. And granted, I've put in less time on this than I would normally with my stitching. But I've definitely come to the realization that it's going to take more than 2 rotations to finish this. It's probably more like 3 or 4. And that's fine. It's a real joy to stitch on. But as always, I think I can do more than I can realistically do. So, but anyway, this is my start on Feast of Friendship. And I'm pretty happy with what I have accomplished so far. And it's just a lovely, lovely chart. Okay. Here we go. So I think that's all we have to show you today for whips and projects that we've got on the go. I did want to show you a little bit of haul that has come in over the last couple of weeks. So I've been very good so far this year. And I haven't purchased any charts for myself since I got spoiled at Christmas by Gary. And so I decided to take a little bit of the stimulus money that we got to help the stitching economy. And so I have acquired a couple of new charts and just wanted to show those to all of you. So I decided to get, these are some things that most of them have been on my wish list for several months at least. And I've been thinking about them. And so I'm really excited. I have been eyeballing a couple of waxing moon designs, and these are my first waxing moon designs that I've ever purchased. But I got the Valentine House Trio by Waxing Moon, which is just absolutely adorable. And I completely love these charts. I also got the Easter House Trio, equally adorable, super, super, super cute. And I think those are going to be really fun to stitch up. I got Fall into Autumn by Jeanette Douglas. I have become quite a fan of Jeanette Douglas over the last year. And so I'm really happy to have a small of hers in my stash to work on at some point. And then like everybody else right now, this is a new release, Jelly Bean Jubilee by Brenda Gervais, and with a needle and thread. And I've seen so many people stitching all of the little smalls in this book, and they're so cute. So I could not resist and had to have this in my stash. And honestly, I don't think there's a single chart in here that I don't want to stitch. They're all really fantastic. So looking forward to having a chance to work on these at some point in the future. Okay, so I think just to wrap up, I'll tell you what we're going to be working on between now and the next time we film. I'm going to spend one more day working on the Feast of Friendship sampler. After that, I'm going to spend a week working on my Fancy Lady, which is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. I am doing that as a stitch along with Sarah. She is Stitch Addict on Instagram, and our hashtag is USNZ Royal Holiday Sal. So if you have that in your stash and you would like to join us, we would love to have you stitch along with us. I think we're both really enjoying it and having a good time with it. And then I will also continue to work on my Seasons Spring by Lila's Studio, which is my travel piece. And then finally, I will get to have a new start. So because the last time my seasonal rotation was up, I finished Holiday Ribbons. I'm going to be switching over to stitching some autumn, and I'm going to be starting Hello Fall by the Scarlet House. I am pretty sure I know what fabric I'm going to stitch this on. I am going to do a color conversion, so I need to just do a floss toss and make sure that everything I've kind of got up in my mind translates well onto the fabric. But really looking forward to working on this. I think it's going to be quick and fun. And then Gary is going to continue to work on the Batman slap and see what he can get accomplished with that. Maybe finish off Robin's head.
No!
No! So I think that's it for us. For those of you around the world who celebrate Easter or who observe, we wish you a happy and blessed Easter. If you don't celebrate Easter, then we wish you a good spring or a good autumn, depending on where you live. And yeah, I think that's it for us this week. So we hope that you will give us a thumbs up, hit the like button for this video. If you're not already a subscriber, we would love to have you stick around with us. So please do subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications when we post a new video. We enjoy all of your comments and try to respond to all of them, or at the very least give you a heart so we know that you know that we saw your comment and appreciated it. You can follow me between videos on Instagram. I am globetrotting_stitcher. And you can also send us an email at globetrottingstitcher@gmail.com. So for now, take care and be safe, be well, stitch on the things that give you joy, and we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.